Welcome to the Daily Drop on Pro Ball Daily. I'm Mike.
And I'm Tara. And buckle up, folks, because today's sports landscape is absolutely bonkers. We've got shocking power ranking shifts, incredible winning streaks, and enough month-to-month inconsistency to make your head spin. But before we dive into the madness, can we just acknowledge the absolute wild ride that is the Premier League Power Index? We're talking Brighton and Hove Albion at number 1, ahead of Arsenal and Man City. What timeline are we in?
Tara, I know. I saw that, and I thought, did I read this right? We'll get to that jaw-dropper later, but you're right. It sets the stage for a day of unexpected twists across every league. But let's kick things off where consistency seems to be finding its footing again, La Liga.
Oh, La Liga, where order is seemingly being restored, at least at the very top. Barcelona, 6-game winning streak, back on top with 79.5 points in our power index. That's the Barcelona we know, the one we expected to be dominating. It almost feels like a sigh of relief for their fans, doesn't it?
Absolutely. They've put their foot down. After some early season wobbles, 6 wins in a row, that's championship form right there. It solidifies their position. But here's where it gets interesting for me, Tara. Look at the rest of that top 5. Getafe at 59.9 points. Mallorca, Alaves, Villarreal, all nipping at their heels. Getafe at number 2? That's a massive statement. Are they genuinely the second-best team right now? Or is this just a perfect storm of results pushing them up?
I think it's a bit of both, Mike. Getafe has been scrappy, defensively solid, and picking up crucial points. They're grinding out results. But let's be real. Are they truly in the same tier as a healthy, in-form Barcelona? Probably not over a whole season, but in this specific snapshot, our power index is telling us they're earning it. It also speaks volumes to the struggles of teams like Real Madrid and Atletico not making an appearance in this top 5. Where are they? Have they been consistently underperforming, or are these other teams just hitting their stride at the perfect moment?
You nailed it. It's either Getafe and Mallorca truly elevating, or the traditional giants are just not performing to their usual standard. And on the flip side of that coin, we have Sevilla on a 5-game losing streak. 5 games! That's a complete collapse for a team of their caliber. Are they battling injuries, coaching issues? That kind of run can absolutely derail a season and send them tumbling down the table fast. It's a crisis point for them.
It is. A 5-game losing streak, especially for a team with European ambitions, is soul-crushing. You start to question everything. The locker room morale must be at an all-time low. They need to find a way to stop the bleeding, and fast.
From the pitch to the ice, let's talk NHL, because the Bruins are giving us some truly head-scratching numbers. Vegas Golden Knights still holding firm at number 1 in our power index, which isn't a surprise. But the Boston Bruins, Tara, what are they doing?
Oh, Mike, the Bruins are giving me whiplash. You look at January 2026, they were on fire. 91% win rate, a staggering plus 30.4 versus their season baseline. Just dominating. Then you fast forward to March 2026, and they dropped to 54%, a negative 10.4 versus baseline. That's a team that went from championship contenders to barely hanging on in a matter of weeks. What changed? Is it goaltending, injuries, or just a brutal schedule catch-up?
It's a massive swing. It makes you wonder if that January surge was an unsustainable high. Can you really trust a team that fluctuates that wildly come playoff time? And they're not alone in the monthly mystery, because the Colorado Avalanche also dipped 56% in January, a negative 11.1 versus their baseline. Are we seeing teams burn out mid-season, or are these just statistical anomalies in the long grind of the NHL?
I think for the Avs, that January dip is concerning, especially with their talent level. You expect more consistency from a team with Stanley Cup aspirations. On the flip side, we saw some solid recent scores. Boston shutting out New Jersey 4-0. That's a statement win, even if it's against a struggling team. Carolina getting a tight 2-1 win over the Islanders. That tells me the Hurricanes are still finding ways to win when it matters, which is why they're in our top 5.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the Utah Mammoth sitting pretty at number 2 in our power index. They're quietly putting together a fantastic season, staying consistently excellent. They're a real threat, not just a flash in the pan.
Definitely one to watch. Switching gears to the MLS, Mike, it looks like Real Salt Lake is leading the pack in our power index. 78.4 points is a strong showing for them. But the big story here for me isn't about the top, it's about the bottom, or rather the consistent slump.
You're talking about the losing streaks, aren't you? LA Galaxy, 4-game losing streak. Philadelphia Union and Portland Timbers, both on 5-game losing streaks. That's brutal, Tara, especially for teams with historical success or recent playoff runs. What is going on in the league right now that three significant clubs are just completely falling apart?
It's a huge problem. 5 games is enough to seriously damage your playoff hopes. Is it a parity issue? Are other teams just getting that much better? Or are these clubs internally struggling with chemistry, tactics, or even just plain bad luck? The fact that the stat of the day for MLS is no standout stats almost highlights this. It's a league of grinding, where even the lack of highlights tells a story of teams fighting just to get a win.
Exactly. It's almost a quiet desperation. And while those teams are struggling, we see New England Revolution at number 2, LAFC at number 3, and then Charlotte FC and New York City FC cracking the top 5. Charlotte FC at number 4, that's a notable rise for a newer club. Are they genuinely hitting an elite stride? Or is this early season form catching other teams off guard?
Charlotte has definitely been an exciting development. Their fans are passionate, and they seem to have found a rhythm. It's a testament to good coaching, smart roster building, or perhaps just a very hot start. But for the Union, Galaxy, and Timbers, they need to figure it out because these kinds of streaks can really snowball and completely derail a season.
Let's transition to the college hardwood, NCAA, where the Michigan Wolverines are sitting atop our power index at 80.3 points. Impressive. But the George Mason Patriots at number 2, 79.5 points, that's not a name you always expect to see up there. Are they a legitimate national contender this year?
George Mason at number 2 is absolutely turning heads, Mike. They've clearly been putting together an incredible season under the radar for some. It shows you that this year in college basketball, talent and execution can come from anywhere. But for me, the stat of the day screams UConn Huskies. 100% at home, dominating with a plus 25.0 scoring margin in their last 8 home games. A true fortress.
A plus 25.0 scoring margin at home is absolutely insane. That's not just winning, that's blowing teams out of the building. If you're playing UConn at home, you already know you're in for a long night. That kind of home court advantage can be a massive factor in the tournament, pushing them deep if they can secure those home games or favorable venues. And let's not forget St. John's Red Storm going 100% in March, plus 11.1 versus their season baseline. That's a fantastic late season surge. Exactly what you want heading into March Madness.
Absolutely. Momentum is everything in March. And then we have Duke and Michigan, 2 powerhouses, whose games go under their average total 40% of the time. What does that tell you about their style of play? Are they defensive-minded? Do they slow the pace?
It definitely suggests a more deliberate, perhaps even grinded-out style, or at least a very strong defensive presence. It could mean they're not running and gunning, focusing on execution in the half court. Something for bettors to keep in mind, too.
On to the NBA, Mike, and this Power Index top 5 is a head-scratcher for anyone who predicted the season. New York Knicks at number 1, San Antonio Spurs at number 2, Charlotte Hornets at number 3. The Nuggets and Thunder are in there too, but that top 3 is not what anyone would have seen coming at the start of the year.
I love it, Tara. It's the year of the unexpected. The Knicks at 1, the Spurs at 2, Charlotte at 3. It's a testament to great coaching, player development, and perhaps a bit of luck avoiding major injuries. These aren't the traditional juggernauts right now. It means the league is wide open, and those old assumptions about team hierarchy are being challenged. And speaking of Charlotte, that 127-126 win over Miami, combining for 253 points, that's the kind of high-octane, back-and-forth thriller that gets fans out of their seats. What a game!
What a game indeed. That's the definition of going down to the wire. You knew that game had multiple lead changes, big shots, defensive stops, or maybe a lack thereof in the final minutes. And then we have the Atlanta Hawks, who are completely unpredictable. They went 55% in February, a negative 14.2 versus their season baseline, then shot up to 87% in March, a plus 17.9 versus baseline. They're a complete wild card, aren't they?
A total roller coaster. You never know which Hawks team is going to show up. They could be a dark horse in the playoffs if they catch fire at the right time, but that inconsistency is worrying. And then the Brooklyn Nets with a dismal 17% in February, a negative 11.1 versus their baseline. That's a team that needs to reassess everything. That's a complete freefall.
It's hard to make a playoff push when you're that wildly inconsistent. February was clearly a nightmare for the Nets.
Switching gears to MLB, and the Dodgers and Padres are predictably at the top of our power index, 1 and 2, but the Detroit Tigers at number 5? That's a pleasant surprise for their fans, and certainly an indicator that they're exceeding expectations.
It absolutely is. The Tigers are putting together a strong run. And speaking of strong runs, the Arizona Diamondbacks are showing some serious resilience. They were at 42% in February, a negative 11.0 versus baseline, then completely flipped it to 64% in April, a plus 11.0 versus baseline. That's finding their stride right when it matters in the early season.
That's fantastic to see. It means they've adjusted, found their rhythm, and are building momentum. Early season slumps can be tough to overcome, but they've done it. The Athletics also had a respectable 63% in March. And our stat of the day highlights Ben Williamson dropping a 70 MLB rating in a high-scoring showdown against the White Sox. That's a phenomenal individual performance, truly making his mark.
Big individual performances can spark a team. And we had some tight games yesterday, too. Arizona beating Baltimore 4-3, Miami losing to Atlanta 6-5, San Francisco falling to Cincinnati 2-1. It's early season baseball, but these close games show that every single play matters, and the parity in the league is going to make for a very exciting summer.
Agreed. And finally, let's revisit the league that started this conversation, the EPL. My goodness, Tara, our power index has Brighton and Hove Albion at number 1, 86.7 points, ahead of Arsenal and Manchester City,